Dads, when did you look at your son and think, that's my boy? My 16-year-old son Dylan hasn't talked much since the divorce. 3 years of one-word answers and closed doors. He lived with his mom until 6 months ago when she took that job in Phoenix. Now it's just us in this too-quiet house, both pretending we know how to do this. Last month I lost my job at the warehouse. 32 guys let go in one afternoon. I was sitting at the kitchen table with bills spread out, doing math that wouldn't work, when Dylan walked in, saw my face, didn't say anything, just grabbed a Coke from the fridge and left. That night I heard him on the phone, voice low, something about need to figure it out. That weekend I noticed my lawnmower was missing from the garage, figured it was stolen. One more thing going wrong. I was about to call the cops when my neighbor Jeff texted me, "Your kid's out here cutting Mrs. Patel's lawn in 95-degree heat." I drove over. Mrs. Patel's the 78-year-old widow whose son died in Afghanistan. Her yard's huge, corner lot with that massive oak tree that drops a million leaves. There was Dylan, completely soaked in sweat, pushing my old Toro through her thick grass. No headphones, no phone, just working, methodically, row after precise row. His t-shirt was dark with sweat, but his face had this focused look I hadn't seen since he used to pitch Little League. I parked across the street and watched. When he finished, Mrs. Patel came out with a glass of water in that Dallas Cowboys cup her late husband always used. Dylan took it, said something that made her laugh, then refused the money she tried to give him. They argued briefly before he finally took what looked like half of what she'd offered. As he loaded the mower in her shed, I noticed 4 other lawns on her street had been freshly cut. The Rodriguez place with the twins, old man Collins's house, the young couple with a new baby. I followed him to the West Side apartments where he mowed 2 more yards, then to the Miller's house where their disabled son waved excitedly from the window while Dylan trimmed their hedges. At the Kennedys, their daughter, who I'm pretty sure Dylan had a crush on last year, brought him Gatorade. He barely looked at her, just nodded thanks, and kept working. By 7 p.m., he'd done 8 yards. When he finally dragged himself home, his hands had blisters, his sneakers were stained green, and he smelled like a compost heap. He went straight to the shower without a word. That night, I found $240 cash tucked under my laptop with a note for the electric bill. There's more coming Friday. I confronted him after his shower. "Why didn't you tell me you were mowing lawns all over town?" He shrugged, that same blank teenage face, water still dripping from his hair. "Your resume was in the trash. You've been staring at bills every night. I figured one of us needed to do something." I asked how many lawns he'd cut that day. 8. He hesitated, then added, "I've got 12 regular customers now. The Hendersons pay extra for their flower beds, and Mrs. Patel won't let me do hers for free, so we compromise." He started to walk away, then turned back. "Dad, I put us on the list too. I'm doing our yard on Sundays. For free, obviously." The smallest hint of a smile, first one I'd seen in months. That night I heard him setting 3 alarms on his phone for 6 a.m. on a summer Sunday. Before bed, I checked his room to see if he needed anything. He was already asleep, face down, completely exhausted. On his desk was a notebook with names, addresses, and a mowing schedule. Notes about who needed what. Miller, trim hedges. Collins, edge sidewalk. Patel, leaves. Under his bed was a pair of work gloves he'd bought himself. Next to them, a business card. Dylan's Lawn Care. Reliable, professional, affordable. He'd used the school printer to make them. The next morning, I got up at 5:30, made him breakfast, filled a cooler with ice and Gatorade. When his alarm went off, I was already standing in the garage next to my old truck, keys in hand. "What are you doing?" he asked, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "I figured you could use a driver today, and maybe some help with the Hendersons' flower beds." For the first time in years, I slept through till morning.